Render is about to go parabolic and I will tell you why. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Doc. In today's video I'm going to explain to you why Render is about to go parabolic in the coming weeks and also give you my Render bull run top price prediction. So let's start this video off with what's actually going on with the Render price since my video last week. So basically during last week's video, Render was trading around like $8.80 and was having trouble breaking this resistance of 9.28, but then something really bullish happened, which we will talk about later in this video, and Render literally went from like $8.10 to like $11.80 in 1 hour. Like it was one of the most sensational things I ever saw about Render. And we also called this stop in last week's video, because if you don't know yet, there's actually a double top from like June or May, which was exactly at the same price. Look at this top. And then once again they retested the stop, and a lot of people sold off and took profits after literally riding this wave for like 6 months. As you can see, I posted it even on Twitter when Render was trading at like $8.74 that this would be a huge resistance area, and literally I think 1 day later at the same picture it tested this resistance, literally the top, and then came back. But again, more about my short term and my bull run top price prediction at the end of the video. But now let's continue with the very bullish news that happened during this week. So this is the reason why it pumped that hard. Upbit Korea listed Render on December 5th. And I didn't think this was such a big deal, but this is the biggest Korean exchange and this was massive. Like Render skyrocketed on the listing, like there's so much fuel, and this once again will be very bullish when Render starts his new uptrend. Because Koreans have a lot of money and they will be interested in the top AI coin. Because the price wasn't the only thing, like the volume Render created was unseen. Like in March when Render went to like $13.65, the volume reached a high of like 1 billion. Now the volume was sitting at like 4 billion, 5 billion even, outperforming every other AI coin by far. And this continues to happen. Like Render is having so much volume, and a lot of people might be wondering, well Doc, if Render is so bullish, so much volume, why isn't this price skyrocketing? Again, I will tell you more about this at the end of my video during my short-term price prediction, but let's not talk about it now. Let's continue with the bullish news. Another very big thing is that beta testing the Render network Blender Cycles native is going great. Like this rendering here would have normally taken 28 hours to render on his own PC, but with the Render network it only took 7 minutes. Like this is so big. Blender has like 2 to 3 million users, and if they all start using the Render network, they will use so much Render tokens to use the Render network, and all these tokens will be burned. And once again, the more tokens that will be burned, the higher the price will go, and I definitely expect a supply shock once the beta testing is over and Blender Cycles fully integrates into Render. Like this, in my opinion, is by far the biggest update Render or any other crypto coin will ever see, and I cannot wait for it to happen. And of course I will keep you guys on Twitter and YouTube up to date when it happens. But let's move on with more bullish news. So 2 weeks ago we talked about the 21 shares Render exchange traded product going live, and something which is actually incredible is that the asset under management is actually almost at 1 million now. So $1 million in Render under management from this exchange traded product. Literally 2 weeks ago when I mentioned this in my video, it was like 120,000, so 800,000 increase, and it keeps growing. Like the higher Render goes, the more people will be interested in this exchange traded product, the higher the price will go. And most people will think $1 million is nothing, Is this everything that 21 shares can do? No, they can do way better. Because if you take a look at their Solana exchange traded product, look at the asset under management, $1.4 billion. Imagine Render would get to like 500 or 200 million. It would literally skyrocket the price. Like, you don't know how much money that would be. Pure liquidity from Render in an exchange traded product. Like, if this number keeps going up rapidly, you know that big investors are actually investing in Render. And again, when big investors on their stock exchanges, at their banks, see that Render is performing incredibly well, they will just throw money. And it will be so easy because they just trust their stock exchanges and bankers way more than most crypto apps. And they won't even see it as a crypto because it's an exchange traded product. So once again, I'll keep you guys up with this number, but the higher it goes, the more bullish it will get for Render. Another thing that keeps getting more bullish for Render is the amount of holders. It just keeps going up. On Twitter, I usually give like a daily or weekly update, and this week again was incredible. Last week's video, Render was like just short of 71,000. Now it's almost at 77,000, almost 6,000 holders in a single week. Remember, November was a super bullish month for Render, and Render went up with 12,000 followers in a month. Now it's almost 6,000 a week. So I'm expecting this number to grow towards 100,000 in December. And again, a lot of people don't know why I keep mentioning this, but the more people holding Render, the stronger it will be, the more people will be talking about it. But also, if it goes up, these people will be telling their friends, family, buy Render, it's skyrocketing, I already made 20, 50, 100%. And that's the greatest marketing for retail. When a price goes up with a lot of holders, that's when it skyrockets. That's why we see XRP skyrocket, because it has millions of holders. And when millions of holders tell people, look, I bought XRP, it went up 50%, they will FOMO. The same thing will happen with Render. You will hear everything about this during my price prediction at the end of the video. So definitely don't miss out on the last part, because it's gonna be epic. But before I give you my short-term and long-term Render price prediction, if you want to claim a free $500 airdrop, just go to the top of the description and click on the Bybit airdrop link. Once you're at the airdrop link, you will see my name and Bybit, and you will see that you can get a free $500 position airdrop. Basically, all you have to do is register with a new account using this link, then just deposit some money within 7 days, and you will get a free $500 airdrop position. So this is basically free money. It's a limited campaign. It ends in 11 days, so you only have 11 days to register and deposit. So don't miss out on this, because a free $500 could change your life in the bull run. So for the short-term prediction of Render, there are some key levels that I'm looking at. So basically, if we take a look at the 4-hour, we can see that there's actually a range forming here. So with a bottom around 950 and with a top around I think 1070. So as you can see, Render was just shy of closing above it. So what you want to see right now in this range, what could happen is just test the bottom again, go up, break and push through. And a lot of people are again wondering, well, why isn't Render pushing? Render is super bullish, a lot of volume. It's because market makers don't want to lose control yet. So basically what market makers do is they sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, and they accumulate more tokens, because every time they sell, they buy back with the money they sold and buy back tokens. So they basically compound their back. And at one point, when they actually go parabolic like this, they might just bought here, tried selling here, but the price keeps going up. So they actually lose control of their tokens and have less tokens, and they really don't want that. That's why they drive the price back to start compounding again. Because in a bull run, when you get a lot of hype and Render goes up by 50% a day, retail will get attention. Once retail gets attention, it keeps pushing, and market makers will lose control, because if they keep selling, they will lose their tokens. So they don't want to do that. So that's why the market makers of Render are just compounding. Every time you see this, it's range after range after range, because it's easy. And once they think, okay, I've accumulated enough tokens, they just fully send it with a lot of volume. So that's why it shouldn't look at other coins like XRP, ADA and other coins were used to attract new users. It was the easiest way to bring more money into crypto, and that's why you just focus on like quality project like Render. But let's continue again with the short-term price prediction. So Render is in this range, but some other key levels are really interesting. One of them is like this price at like $8.90, because this is basically like the Fibonacci 0.382, also the monthly open. Like this is a price which could be very, very interesting for a retest, like a liquidity grab down here, and then with enough fuel, come back in the range and pump through. We saw this in these ranges as well, where we went below the range, pump through, and that could happen right here as well. But again, this would only happen in case of a liquidity grab or when Bitcoin tanks a lot, but I'm not expecting this. I'm expecting a bullish December. So what's next? So again, I said we need to break from this range. So what would be really nice is like a daily close above like $11.50. Once this happens, once the daily closes are above $11.50, I'm just expecting the skyrocket. I'm even expecting a skyrocket when we break out of this, but once we break $11.50, it's just going to all-time high. And from all-time high, this is a point where it gets interesting, because a lot of coins we saw with Sui, Solana, they get to all-time high, they break it, so that's basically here. But then a lot of people, once again, people who bought at this area will sell off. That's the same thing what happened here. $11.80, a lot of people bought here, they sold up. So this is not gonna stop people. So what we could see, worst case scenario, is like drop back to this 1180, a retest of previous resistance. So this is an SR flip, very, very bullish. And then I expect Render to go to the next Fibonacci level at 20. So this is basically what I expect Render to do once we break this area here, and then go up to 20, and then from 20 on in December even, I'm expecting at the end of December or the beginning of January a liquidity grab from alts and Bitcoin, then again another SR flip here, and then it will be very, very interesting. But yeah, we talked about the short term, now let's talk about the bull run top price prediction. So when we talk about the bull run top price prediction, you know, guys know I love to use the Fibonacci. So let's take a look at the Fibonacci levels here. Let's just drag them a little bit. So once again, look at this. This week tested the last Fibonacci resistance, the 0.786, before going to a new all-time high. Perfect peak. But what we're also seeing here is that we retested the 0.618, which is again very bullish, because the 0.618 is a very big resistance, which we talked about last week as well. We just went through it, retested the support resistance flip, and now going up. So this is looking very bullish, and I'm not expecting this 11.50 to hold a long time. So again, like I said earlier, if we close above this on the daily, it's just straight pumps. Like I don't expect this area to do anything. We'll go straight to 14. So what's going to happen again from 14? So this is going to be hype. Maybe they let us go to like this area, maybe not. Let's just say they let us go to like the market makers allow 14. Then probably what we'll see is a retest of this top. So this is a support resistance flip. And then what we saw with Sui as well is this could be very interesting. They could stop at 20, which is obvious. They could send a little bit more, like 24, 25. So this is what I'm expecting in December. Then once again, what I'm expecting is a crash like we saw in 2021 in January. So great liquidity grab on Bitcoin, on altcoins, because funding rates will probably be way too high. So this will be grabbed. So this could be like straight down. Like I'm not even gonna do it like sidelines. It's gonna be straight line like this, depending on how high this goes. Like it goes to 20, probably see 13. If it doesn't go to 20, like this is actually how it could be, like this area here, 14.6 if they allow us to this. So this will be a support resistance again. And this is where it gets interesting. Like from here at the beginning of February or the end of January, I'm expecting a lot. Like I'm expecting more than 50. We just saw XRP go to 150 billion market cap to attract retail. Like, this isn't a small player. Like, Render's volume is incredible. The number of holders is increasing a lot. Like, this 50 is my minimum target. Again, not financial advice for March. Like, I'm expecting again, like we saw in the February-March rally in 2024, that Render will do incredible. Because if we didn't know yet, in this particular rally, which was basically at the beginning of this year, Render actually gained so much attention, and the volume wasn't that high either because it was just a top coin. Just look at this. From the end of January to this top, we saw a 300% increase, a 4x. This wasn't in a bull run. This was just normally in March. And now we're seeing XRP go to 150 billion. We're seeing a lot of Dino coins adding 10 billions of market caps in a few days. And you're not expecting Render to do this? I'm expecting way higher. Like, let's take a look. Like, this is a dip of January. Let's just take a look what this could bring. Like, let's just keep it real. Like, the first thing is the plus 300%. That would already put us like, how much is that? That would like put us like above 50, I think almost. 43 increase, like 50, I think it's like $58. Like, this is like, this could be actually it. This is the same as 2024. We're already at $60. Like, a bull run is way bigger. We saw H-bar do 700%. So 700% is here, 104. This still is nothing. XRP did this entire market cap in 6 days. Like, this is bull run parabolic mode. Like, what I said before is like, I'm expecting this 50 to be hit, not financial advice. But if we go parabolic, if everyone gets their attention on Render, like if the holder counts increases to 200,000 by the end of January, this run could actually happen because there will be so many people holding Render. Render will go parabolic. So it just depends on how well does retail give adoption to Render, how big are the influencers talking about it. But this is definitely possible. Like, this market cap, I think $100 is 50 billion. XRP added 75 billion in 6 days. This is the biggest coins. It got an exchange rate product. It got major partnerships. It's listed on every big exchange that retail will buy. Like, don't lower your targets. I'm seeing people talk about $20. Like, $20 is nothing. It's like an increase of $6 from the March price. This is a bull run. We're literally at this price already. We're at $10. Last year in November or the beginning of December, Render was trading at like $3.50. So that's an increase from 300%. So from here, that would already be like $46 or something, or even more. So yeah, people, get your targets up, but of course take profits as well. But I will be talking about you on YouTube and Twitter when I will be taking profits, what will be the best times to sell. Like, this is my long-term bull run top prediction. Always try to listen to my short-term predictions because they're easier to come true, because we're just watching the movement of the last week and predicting the next week. But this is over like the next 3-4 months. But my thoughts have not changed. I'm actually getting more and more bullish. The higher and more volume I see in Render, the more bullish you should get as well. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Be sure to like if you did. Also follow me at TheRealDoc on Twitter to know and talk about crypto, Render, when I buy, when I sell, and other very bullish crypto news. Subscribe to my channel for more crypto content, and YouTube. Until next time.